Hey guys, so I know today's video is quite a bit later than they normally are, and I'm sorry about that. Um, but it is happening today. It's only 10:45, so I still have an hour and 15 minutes for day 4. So yeah, um, I worked a lot today, like all day pretty much. That's why this video's so late. But but um, actually I mentioned in yesterday's video that about a book that I was going to get or had just gotten or something. Don't know. And I said that I would talk about it today. And a little backstory is my senior year of high school. So about actually probably right around 3 years, pretty close to exact. From 3 years ago from today. I don't know the exact date, obviously. Um, I was in government class and we watched a video. And this video, I can't remember what it was called, to be perfectly honest with you. But it was a documentary about the West Memphis 3. And I don't know if you guys know anything about the West Memphis 3, if you ever heard of it, ever heard of them, ever heard of anything. Um, but basically, it was this documentary about how in 1993, I believe it was, in West Memphis, Arkansas, these 3 little Cub Scouts, who were like 7, I think, 6 or 7, um, were like had a bunch of really brutal, terrible things happen to them, and they were killed. And when the police did investigations and talked to townspeople, and through whatever reasoning they had, they arrested these 3 boys. They were like 17 and 18, I think. Damien Echols, Jesse Miss Kelly, and some boy who's Jason something. Okay, but anyways, so they arrested these 3 boys just kind of based on the fact that they were kind of weird guys, and um, they didn't, they hung out together, but they didn't really fit the mold of the Southern gentleman, I guess, would be a way of saying it. They like to dress in black, they like to listen to alternative music, which was like a big no-no, at that point in time. So basically, that was the main reasoning behind them being arrested and eventually convicted. Um, excuse me. Um, and so they find these 3 boys guilty, and I don't know exactly what Jason and Jesse. I think their name. Oh, I can't guess the name was Jason. I don't remember. I think that they got some form of life in prison, some amount of consecutive terms. I don't really know. But Damien Echols was put on death row because he was like seen as like the ringleader or something like that. Um, so he was put on death row, and he was on death row for 18 years, I think. And it was either last year or the year before that. I think it was in 2011. He was actually, um, they found more evidence, and with more technology, they were able to determine that they didn't. I still don't think they found exactly who did it. But they were able to prove that it wasn't the 3 of them. So they were obviously released from jail, and Damien Echols was set free from death row. Um, I became like obsessed with this. I don't know why. I couldn't even begin to tell you why. Like, I'm not into like criminal things. I mean, I do watch Law and Order SVU, but that's different. So I'm not into like news or this wasn't something that happened. I mean, this happened when I was 2. Like, I don't remember it happening. I'm sure it was like a giant news story at the time, um, because of the horrific things that happened to these 3 small children. Um, and whatnot. But like I said, I wasn't, I was 2. I hadn't heard of this until my senior year of high school, and I watched the documentary and I became utterly obsessed with this, like to the point where I would like, okay, not like creepy obsessed with it, but like I wanted to know like everything about it, and I read news articles and watched other videos, and like the sequel to the documentary that I watched in high school was on uh TV one night, and I got so excited. It was like you would have thought that a Harry Potter marathon was on. I was so excited. And so I watched that, and I watched other documentaries on it and everything like that. So, really long story, kind of long. I was at Barnes & Noble the other night, and because I had a gift card from one of my very good friends from Fargo's. Oh, my ears are really bad. Weird. One of my really good friends from Fargo's, and because she gave me a $20 gift card, so I wanted to buy a journal, which I showed you yesterday. So I bought that journal, and I was going to check out, and they had like the table with like the new releases on it and stuff, and they had this book, and this is what it looks like. That was hard to say. It says it's by Damien Echols, and it's called Life After Death, and it's a book that he wrote after getting off of death row. And I was so excited, like, you would have thought that, I don't even know, you would have thought, but I was super excited. And so I was like, oh, I have to buy that. I could put the journal back, I could buy it, and it was like $23. And so I was like, well, I should see if they have it as a nookbook. And they had it as a nookbook for only $12. So I could get a journal and get the book for only a little bit more than my gift card was worth. So I was super excited about that. So I bought it, and I read a whole bunch last night. It was funny because I was reading it. I was like, okay, I need to go to bed. I'm just gonna read one chapter. And so I read one chapter. And I was like, okay, well, if that didn't take me very long, these chapters are pretty short, whatever. So I read 2 chapters. To the second chapter. And I was like, okay, well, it's still not very late, I'll still get like 7 hours of sleep if I read another chapter. And so then, I don't really know, sorry, I'm playing my computer. I don't really know how it happened and how I didn't realize it. But I was getting near to the end of the chapter, and I knew that it was like that part where it's like only part of a page is written on, sort of thing. So you knew that was like the end of the chapter. And I was like, oh, okay, so the next chapter, so I'll be like on chapter 3 tomorrow, and I was on chapter 5. I don't know how I just didn't realize that I read the 3rd and the 4th chapters. And so I read the 5th chapter, and I think the 6th chapter last night. I think I read 6 chapters last night. Before I realized it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I should probably go to sleep. And then today I read 8 and 9. No, I'm on 9. So it's 7 and 8. And it's super good so far. It's just weird because like I haven't read any like non-fiction books in a very long time. So I have to keep reminding myself, I'm like, this is not non-fiction. Like, this is not fiction. It's non-fiction. Like, this is like a real person telling things that actually happened. Like, it's bizarre. But yeah, so I was super excited, and I found out that I've actually found out like in the foreword part of this book, he wrote another book, and I really want to get it. So I'm super excited about that. So yeah, other than that, not a lot's going on. Working, reading, making really long videos. It happens. Hopefully, I don't know when, sometime soon, I'll be able to like take my camera out and like go videotape something interesting, and not just me sitting from my computer or in my car. Yep. So I think I'm gonna start giving these videos titles instead of just vlog every day. Cause yeah, I think it'll be more organized that way. And like if I wanted to go back and like rewatch the video that I talked about my West Memphis 3 obsession, whatever you want to call it, then I won't be like, oh, but was that day 5 or was that day like 15? So that'll be cool. And this video is way too long, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna read from my book. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, I totally forgot. I wanted to do I wanted to do music suggestions. I'll do that tomorrow.